Let's talk all about decoding ingredient lists and what brands don't want you to know. Skincare brands are legally required to list ingredients, but they use sneaky tricks to hide what's really in your products. I'm about to expose you to the ingredient list secrets that could save you hundreds of dollars. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Mara Weinstein. I'm a board-certified dermatologist, and after analyzing thousands of ingredient lists, I know exactly how brands manipulate you. Today, I'm teaching you to read labels like a dermatologist so you never get scammed again. The first secret is that ingredients are listed by concentration, highest to lowest, but brands exploit this. Here's the water scam. So water is always listed first. It's cheap filler. If your active ingredient is 10th on the list, there's barely any of it in there. Expensive serums with actives on the bottom are overpriced water. Here's the 1% rule loophole. After 1% concentration, brands can list ingredients in any order. So they put the sexy ingredients higher to look impressive. Your $80 vitamin C serum might have about 0.1% of vitamin C. So here's a real example. Popular $120 retinol serums lists retinol 15th. So you're paying premium for trace amounts. Make sure you check that label and see in what lineup the actual active ingredient is. Brands also use confusing names to hide cheap ingredients and inflate prices. There's a fancy name trick. So aqua sounds fancier than water, but they're really the same thing. Sodium hyaluronate versus hyaluronic acid, pretty much the same thing. Tocopherol sounds scientific, but it's just vitamin E. It's important to know though that these ingredients can have different names to them, so you know what you're looking for when you look down the list of ingredients. Now there's also the proprietary blend scam. So if something says exclusive peptide complex, what does that really mean? It's usually just basic peptides or botanical extract blend. Who knows? This might just be cheap plant extracts. We can't verify concentrations in proprietary blends, so always throw up a red flag and think, what does this really mean? Or ask for the research and the data that breaks down those proprietary ingredients, or check with your board-certified dermatologist. Now, there's a whole thing about marketing versus reality as well. True collagen molecules can't penetrate the skin anyway, so even if it says marine collagen, we don't know how much of that is actually getting through our skin barrier. Collagen can be added to skincare ingredients, but it's usually just there for moisture, not to actually build collagen. Adding collagen to skin does not stimulate our collagen-producing cells, which are fibroblasts. So don't be misled that if you're using a collagen cream, it's actually going to stimulate collagen, because it doesn't. It's more of a hydrating ingredient. If something says it has stem cell technology, this usually just means that there are plant extracts in the product. Or if it's clinical strength, we really need to know what that means. In some cases, it means that it's medical grade, clinical strength. There have been studies to show that, but typically it's just a meaningless marketing term. Now let's talk about the concentration con. So this is where brands can really trick you on pricing. There are known effective concentration ranges. So with vitamin C, you need about 10 to 20% to be effective. With niacinamide, 2 to 5% is effective. Salicylic acid, 0.5 to 2% is effective to see results. Over the counter and in the office, we use higher percentages like up to 30%. For retinol, usually 0.25 to 1% can be effective depending on the tolerance. Now there are certain formulators which tend to be prescription only that are a lesser percentage, but those are considered retinoids, and those are definitely effective because they are prescriptions. Now here's a trick on how to spot weaker formulations. The active ingredient is listed after all the preservatives. So if you are buying a vitamin C product and you don't see L-ascorbic acid until the end and there's a ton of inactive ingredients or preservatives up top, then it's probably going to be a very weak formulation of vitamin C. Also, if there are multiple actives in one product, they're usually all going to be a lesser percentage and it's going to be a weaker product. So for example, if you're buying a product that has L-ascorbic acid and niacinamide in it, make sure you check the percentages of each of those active ingredients to make sure that that product's actually going to be effective. Also, even if the percentages aren't actually listed on the product, or go to the website to see what percentage of each active is actually in that product. And again, you can spot a weak formulation if the ingredient that's promised to deliver the results is at the very end of the ingredient list. Now here's a real comparison. So drugstore vitamin C serum with about 15% L-ascorbic acid is listed 3rd versus a luxury brand with vitamin C listed 12th. So guess which actually works better? There's also a dusting scam, so adding tiny amounts of trendy ingredients just to put them on the label. Again, I always advise to check with your dermatologist or go to the website, see if there's a medical advisor behind the product, or see if they have any research or clinical data supporting that all of these active ingredients in one product are actually effective. Now, this is so important to know if you have sensitive skin or have issues with fragrances, because there can be harmful ingredients in these products that are hiding in plain sight. There are some ingredients that brands hope you won't recognize that are actually problematic. So fragrance disguises, parfum or fragrance can actually contain 100 plus unlisted chemicals. Essential oils are often just fragrance and can cause allergic reactions and sensitivity. They're completely unnecessary in skincare. If something says unscented, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's fragrance-free. So the true test is open the bottle and smell the product. If there is a scent, then it could have potentially harmful and irritating fragrances in it or essential oils that can wreak havoc on the skin if you're allergic to any of those ingredients. So make sure if you have sensitive skin, you're looking for products that say hypoallergenic, fragrance-free, not just unscented. There can also be sneaky irritants in products like denatured alcohol, which can be drying and irritating. Menthol or peppermint actually feels tingly on the skin or on the scalp, but it can damage the skin barrier if it's in high concentrations and not formulated properly. Citrus extracts can actually cause photosensitivity. So if you're using a product that has citrus extract and you go on a sunny vacation and you notice streaking on the skin, that can actually be a result of your skincare product reacting with the UV radiation. Products can also have an overload of preservatives in them. So multiple parabens might be listed separately so they appear to be in lower concentrations. There's an ingredient called phenoxyethanol, which we'll spell for you, which can cause eczema in sensitive individuals. Also, there's a category of ingredients called formaldehyde releasers that can be potential carcinogens and irritants as well. Now, let me let you in on a little patient disaster. So I had a patient named Emma who had been using a natural face oil. It contains 6 different essential oils, but she ended up developing severe contact dermatitis that took months to heal because she was actually allergic to one of the ingredients in that essential oil. Just because it's essential oil and organic and all natural doesn't mean you can't develop a contact sensitivity to it. So make sure you know what you're sensitive to and also all of the names of those oils that are in your products. So here's my step-by-step system for analyzing any product. Step 1, check the first 5 ingredients. These make up about 80% of the product. If there's no actives in the top 5, it's probably pretty weak. Water, glycerin, and emulsifiers are normal fillers in products. Step 2, find your target ingredient. It should be in the first 10 ingredients for effectiveness. And look for the concentration if it's listed. If it's not on the bottle, check the website or the box. There can be multiple forms of the same ingredient, which actually equal a total higher concentration of the ingredient, but make sure you look for that. Step 3, the red flag scan. Make sure there's no fragrance, essential oils, or denatured alcohol, which can be over drying. Make sure there are no long lists of plant extracts, which are usually pretty ineffective, or ingredients that you can't pronounce. If you can't pronounce them, look them up and make sure they're not a common allergen. Step 4, compare similar products. So if there's a drugstore vitamin C versus a very expensive vitamin C, compare those ingredient lists online before you actually purchase them. If there are fewer total ingredients, then it often means that they're there in higher concentrations. So definitely pay attention to that. Now here's a pro tip. Use websites like the INCID decoder or Paula's Choice ingredient dictionary to research unfamiliar ingredients. Now here's my take on some brands that get it right versus those that are getting it wrong. So let me call out some examples. Here are brands that are doing it right. The Ordinary. So it lists exact percentages. You know exactly what you're using. Very simple, easy to figure out. Paula's Choice, also very transparent about concentrations. Now, you know I love CeraVe. They have simple, effective formulations. All the ingredients there are listed. I also love SkinCeuticals, which have clinical concentrations of actives, and they also have a lot of clinical data behind their products, and you can find that on the website. There are some brands that are playing games, so luxury brands with 50+ ingredient lists, or clean brands hiding marketing terms. There are some MLM brands with proprietary blends, so you never really know what's in the product. And also brands that just won't disclose the concentration, so that should definitely throw up a red flag. The price per active reality, so a $200 serum with 0.1% retinol versus a $15 drugstore brand with 0.5% retinol. You're actually paying for the packaging and marketing, not necessarily results. So let's just compare two niacinamide serums for a real life example. There's an $8 ordinary serum with 10% niacinamide listed second versus a $65 luxury brand with niacinamide listed 8th. You get the same results with 8 times the price difference. Think about that. In conclusion, stop letting brands fool you with fancy marketing and confusing labels. The ingredient lists tell the real story. You just need to know how to read it. Remember, order matters, concentration matters, and marketing terms don't matter. Your wallet will thank you when you start buying based on actual ingredients, not pretty packaging. What ingredient has surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments below and I'll decode it for you. And subscribe because I'm exposing more industry secrets that brands don't want you to know.